Hello guys, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening kung ano oras nyo man ito napapanood. Ako si Gilbrian Jacutan. Magbibigay lang ako ng konting presentation para sa subject na technopreneurship. Sabi ni Dave Ramsey, we buy things we don't need with money. We don't have to impress people we don't like. Ibig sabihin, bumibili tayo ng mga bagay na hindi naman natin kailangan. Tulad na lang ng mga luxury items, and we often use credit cards to buy things we want, even though utang pa yan. We need to just impress people na kahit naman hindi natin gusto. In short, we live our lives just to please other people. Ano nga bang pinagkaiba ng assets sa liability? Simulan natin sa assets. Ito yung mga bagay na may value at nakakatulong sa'yo kumita o magbigay ng benefits. Ito yung mga tinatawag nating what you own. For example na lang yung bahay, lupa, kotse, negosyo, marami pang iba na pwede natin maging assets sa buhay. Yung liability, ito naman yung mga bagay na kailangan mong bayaran o yung tinatawag na obligasyon mo. Tulad na lang yung mga utang mo, credit cards balance, yung mga bills, siyempre yung mga luho mo din sa buhay na hinuhulugan. Sabi naman ni Warren Buffett, risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. Simple lang, ang ibig sabihin kundi ang nagiging delikado ang isang bagay kapag ginagawa mo na wala ka namang kaalam-alam. For example, may balak kang magtayo ng business, tapos wala kang sapat na kaalaman. So, possible na malugi yung business na itatayo mo. Kaya, the less you know, the riskier it gets. Value Proposition Canvas. Objective na maintindihan ng needs, problem at desire ng isang customer. Sa madaling salita, ito yung guide para siguradong pasok sa preference ng customer yung product mo o service mo. Sa Business Model Canvas, dito naman nakikita yung buong structure ng business mo. Dito pumapasok kung paano kikita yung product o service na ino-offer mo sa isang customer, at kung sino yung kailangan mong customer, partners at resources na makakatulong sa'yo. Lean concept, ito yung nagmi-minimize ng waste katulad ng oras, efforts, tsaka pera, at nagma-maximize din siya ng value ng isang customer. Six Sigma, dito mag-i-improve ka ng quality ng products by reducing errors and defects. Mas consistent, mas reliable, mas maganda ang output. Pareto's Principle, dito nakikita kung saan nagpo-focus ang result, which means 80% ng outcome galing sa 20% causes. For example, 80% ng sale galing sa 20% na customer. SWOT analysis, ito naman para i-assess ang strength, weaknesses, opportunities and threats ng business mo. Sa madaling salita, mas madaling gumawa ng strategies kapag alam mo ang strength and weaknesses at possible opportunities and threats ng isang business. In summary, lahat ng objectives na nabanggit ko ay ginagamit para mas maintindihan ng business, pag-improve ng strategies at mag-focus sa mga priorities. So, sa technology, ito yung paggamit ng scientific knowledge para magkaroon ng mga madaling solusyon para sa mga problema sa society natin o problema ng isang individual. Sa invention, ito naman yung pag-create ng mga products, isang process or new techniques para sa mga hindi pa nag-exist na mga bagay. Sa innovation, ito yung pag-improve or pag-innovate ng invention na mas maganda pa o mas maging useful. Sa madaling salita, ang invention ay paggawa ng mga new products, while innovation pagpapaganda ng existing product. Ano naman ang technopreneurship? Ito yung may business ka, tas gumagamit ka ng high technology para ma-deliver ang products o ma-serve sa isang customer. What are customer pain points? A pain points is a specific problem that prospective customers of your business are experiencing. In other words, you can think of pain points as problem, plain and simple. A key components to marketing and business in general is understanding customer pain points and then delivering solution to those pain points. However, a majority of marketers do not understand what pain points truly are, and instead think that solutions are actually the pain points. So, ano nga ba ang customer pain points? Customer pain points, yun yung mga problema na nag-i-struggle or needs na maranasan ng isang customer sa paggamit ng isang product sa kanilang daily life. Ito yung mga bagay na nakakainis o nahihirapan sila kaya naghahanap sila ng mga solusyon. Sa madaling salita, yung customer pain points, ito yung mga problem ng customer na gusto nilang magkaroon ng maayos na solusyon. In this sketch on the previous slide, a marketer will hear someone saying that they need a bandage. So, the marketer will present them a bandage, a great bandage. A bandage that stay on well but doesn't hurt when it peeled off. A bandage that keep out infection. A bandage with all of the pros on giving the wound a nice warm hug. But the bandage was just a solution, not the pain point. The actual pain point is the person wants to stop their leg from bleeding. Understanding that as the pain point, the marketing of the solution becomes very different. Identifying pain points. Customer experience pain in many ways, but oftentimes they don't know how to tell you what the pain truly is, so they ask for a solution. One way to get customer pain points is to ask open-ended questions and follow-ups. The classic example from Theodore Levitt in this sketch above. If someone walks into a hardware store looking for a 1/4 drill bit, their pain points isn't they need a 1/4 bit. Their pain points is that they need a 1/4 hole. Don't ask them what kind of features they want in a drill bit. Ask them what they want to the drill for. As the expert, you'll then know what to prescribe to them.
Good day, I'm Iverson G. Natural, and I'm the next reporter. Innovation comes from understanding true pain points. The myth of Henry Ford saying, "If I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses," still holds a very important lesson in it. It's not about ignoring customer feedback. It's about getting to the root pain point customers have. In this quote, the pain point has nothing to do with horses or cars. The pain point is that people want to get from one place to another quickly and efficiently. But people see the only solution to that being faster horses. That Henry Ford quote about the faster horses, it doesn't mean na we should ignore customers. It just means madalas ang customer humihingi ng solution na alam na nila na hindi yun yung talagang solution. The true problem is they want to get to where they're going faster. They just think faster horses is the only way. Innovation is finding a better way than just faster horses. The lesson here is to truly understand kung ano ba talaga ang problema before jumping to conclusions and creating solutions. Kailangan natin maging observant and think deeply to identify the true pain points and develop truly innovative solutions. Next is, the solution could still be a bandage, but it would be one that tightly pulls together the one to stop the bleeding. It would be a bandage that sticks to skin even if the skin is wet with sweat. The new solution could also be medical glue that will stop the bleeding immediately. The key is that the solution should address the customer's true pain point. the marketing shouldn't be about the product. It should be about the product. It should be about the alleviation of the pain point. The solution, even if basic like a bandage, must effectively address the core problem. Dapat reliable siya at diretso sa main point ng customer. Marketing effort should then focus on how the solution eases the pain point. Hindi lang basta mag-highlight ng feature ng product. Next, Unit 2, Customer Segments. Customer is the person who pays the price and purchases the goods or services of a certain producer or a business. Therefore, the customer is not essentially the end users as well. The customer may pay the price and buy the products and give them to a different person who then becomes the end user of them. A customer is the one who pays for a product or service, pero hindi laging yung customer yung mismong gumagamit. The buyer might give the product to someone else at yung taong yun ang magiging end user. End users. End users is the person who consumes or use the goods or the service. The customer can be the end user as well. However, not all in access. Nonetheless, it is the end user who will know the genuine quality and the nature of the product or the service since it is end user who consumes it. Sa end user, an end user is the person who ultimately was or consumes a product or service. Pwedeng ang customer din ang end user. This is not always the case. Importantly, the end user is the one who truly experience the quality and nature of the product or service. At ang example ng product or services, customer and end user. May example tayo dyan, like diapers. Yung diapers ang product, pero ang customer natin dyan, syempre, yung mga parents. Tapos, maging end user dyan, syempre, yung mga babies na. Isa pang example ng product, service, customer, and end user na same ang customer at end user ay yung car. Ang customer natin sa car, yung owner, pero ang end user natin, yung owner pa rin. Next, if you understand the identifying pain points your customers have, your approach to innovation completely changes. The way you speak to your audience changes. You don't hype a solution, but other call out how the solution alleviates the pain point. You connect with them, you build with them because you understand them. Understanding your customers' pain points change everything. Instead of just promoting a product, ipinapakita mo kung paano nila isolve yung problema nila. This build trust and connection because you demonstrate that you understand them. Next, what is a stakeholder? A stakeholder is a party that has an interest in a company and can either affect or be affected by business. Sa stakeholder, a stakeholder is anyone who is affected by or can affect a company. They have an interest in the business success or failure. Here are the types of stakeholders. Sa stakeholders, meron tayong dalawang uri. Isang internal at isang external. Sa internal, ito yung nakapaloob sa company. Ito yung owner, manager, ganon, mga employees. At sa external naman, ito na yung, kumbaga yung mga customer na, yung mga consumer. Pwede rin siyang supplier, shareholders, ganon. Sa isang society, ganon, government, creditors. What is influencer? An influencer is someone who has the power to affect the purchasing decisions of others because of their authority, knowledge, position, or relationship with their audience. A following in a distinct reach with whom they actively engage. The size of the following depends on the size their topic of the reachee. Sa influencer, an influencer can affect what people buy because they have authority, knowledge, or relationship sa audience nila. They usually have dedicated following sa isang specific na interest.
Nikkei market. A Nikkei market refers to a specific customer segment with highly defined characteristics. This segment requires a highly tailored product, custom-made to suit their needs. Therefore, the value propositions, channels, and customer relationships are tightly defined by the preferences of this particular customer segment. So our next is, what is customer segment? Customer segments are the different groups of people or organizations your enterprise aims to reach and serve. This includes users who might not generate revenues but which are necessary for the business model to work. So meron tayong types of customer segments. So our first customer segments is mass market. Nikkei is the second, and third is segmented. Fourth is diversified, and ang ating last is multi-sided. So punta tayo sa unang type ng customer segments, which is mass market. So mass market, products and services which target the mass market segment have a broad appeal and often cover the overall population. The mass market approach doesn't rely on any specific segmentation and instead aims to be efficient by treating everyone the same. In reality, there are very few companies that do this. Most companies apply some level of segmentation. So, ayun, ang mass market ay tumutukoy sa pinakamalaking grupo ng mga mamimili para sa isang produkto o serbisyo. Binubuo ito ng malawak na hanay ng mga tao na may magkakaibang background. At kagustuhan na lahat ay may karaniwang pangangailangan o interes sa isang produkto. Ang mga negosyong nagtatarget sa mass market ay kadalasang nagdidisenyo ng mga produkto na nakakaakit sa pinakamaraming tao hanggat maaari. Kadalasan sa abot kayang presyo at may malawak na kakayahang magamit. So yun na nga. So yun ang sabi ng mass market. So meron tayo isang example dito sa mass market. May halimbawa natin dito ang Coca-Cola. Okay. Mga soft drinks. Ayan. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, yung mga yan. Mga halimbawa natin dito. So punta tayo sa next nating type of customer segments. So our second customer segments is segmented. Okay? Some business models distinguish between market segments with slightly different needs and problems. The retail arm of a bank like Credit Suisse, for example, may distinguish between a large group of customers, each processing assets of up to $100,000 and a smaller group of affluent clients. So gawin na lang yung paliwanag nito sa Tagalog. So yung segmented, which is yung pangalawa nating customer segment, ay ito. Ang isang naka-segment na merkado ay isa kung saan ang pangkalahatang merkado ay nahati sa mas maliit na grupo ng mga mamimili batay sa mga binabahagi, katangian, ganun. Gaya ng edad, kita, pamumuhay, lokasyon, o gawi sa pagbili. Sa halip ng mag-alok ng isang produkto para sa lahat, niaangkop ng mga negosyo ang mga produkto, presyo at diskarte sa marketing upang umangkop sa mga pangangailangan ng bawat segment. So ayun yung pangalawa nating customer segments, yung segment. So punta naman tayo sa pangatlo nating customer segments. So this is multi-sided platforms or multi-sided market. Some organizations need to attract two or more interdependent customer segments belonging to two or more totally different sides in order to succeed. A credit company, for example, needs a large base of credit card holders and a large base of merchants who accept those credit cards. Similarly, an enterprise offering a free newspaper needs a large reader base to attract advertisers. On the other hand, it also needs advertisers to finance production and distribution. Both segments are required to make the business model work pala. Ayan. So, ang multi-sided platform or tinatawag na multi-sided market ay ang multi-sided platform or MSP ay isang modelo ng negosyo na nag-uugnay sa dalawa o higit pang nagtatanging grupo ng mga user na umaasa sa isa't isa para sa halaga. Ganon. Ang platform ay gumaganap bilang isang tagapamagitan na nagpapagana ng paipag-ugnayan o mga transaksyon sa pagitan ng mga pangkat na ito. Ang tagumpay nito ay nakasalalay sa pag-akit sa lahat ng panig dahil ang halaga ay tumataas kapag mas maraming kalahok ang sumasali. So ayun yung MSP or multi-sided market or multi-sided platform. Depende sa dalawa ng kung gusto may tao. So punta naman tayo sa pang-apat. So our fourth customer segments is diversified. Tama ba? Basta yun. A business that decides to take a diversified approach to customer segmentation will select a wide range of customer groups with very different needs. Often companies diversity as they migrate to new customers and markets. Examples include Amazon diversifying into cloud services based on its utilizing its core infrastructure, and Apple migrating into Apple TV based on its previous development of Apple Music. So ito yan, diversified. Ang diversified market ay tumutukoy sa isang diskarte sa negosyo kung saan ang isang kumpanya ay nagpapatakbo sa iba't ibang mga industriya o nag-aalok ng isang malawak na iba't ibang mga produkto at serbisyo upang mabawasan ang panganganib at makakuha ng higit pang mga pagkakataon. Sa halip na umasa sa isang produkto o market, binabahagi ng kumpanya ang focus nito sa ilang hindi nauugnay o maluwag na nauugnay na mga lugar. So, ayun yung diversified. So, let's move naman sa demographic segmentation. So, ito yung ito naman, this is one of the most popular and commonly used types of market segmentation. It refers to statistical data about a group of people. Examples are, ito yung mga examples na nakapaloob sa demographic segmentation. Ito ang age, gender, annual income, source of income, occupation, education, ethnicity. Parang lumalabas dito na parang all about yourself, kung baga lahat kasi na include na dito, age, gender, annual income, source of income, parang ganun lang yun, magkaparehas kasi meron kang tatanungin na age, meron din sa gender, annual income, source of income, ganun. Okay, what is market segmentation? Market segmentation is the process of dividing target customer segments into smaller, more precise cluster. It is used to categorize customer segments and audience into groups that share similar characteristics. So, meron tayong types of market segments. First, demographic segmentation. So, ayun na nabasa ko na yung demographic segmentation. Ayan. So, pangalawa, psychographic segmentation, behavioral segmentation, and geographic segmentation. So, punta tayo sa psychographic segmentation. So, punta tayo doon. So, hinahati ng psychographic segmentation ang merkado batay sa mga pamumuhay, halaga, interes, personalidad at uri ng lipunan ng mga tao. Ito ay higit pa sa mga pangunahing demograpiko at tumutuon sa kung bakit ang mga tao ay gumagawa ng mga pagpipilian na tumutulong sa mga negosyo na kumonekta sa mga customer sa isang mas malalim na emotional o motivational na antas. So, ayun yung psychographic segmentation. So, punta tayo sa pangatlo, which is yung behavioral segmentation. Ang segmentasyon ng pag-uugali ay naghahati sa merkado batay sa kung paano kumilos sa mga mamimili patungo sa isang produkto o serbisyo. Tinitignan nitong mga pattern gaya ng mga gawi sa pagbili, dalas ng paggamit, katapatan sa brand at estilo ng paggawa ng desisyon. Nakakatulong ito sa mga negosyo na magdisenyo ng mga alok na tumutugma sa aktual na pagkilos ng customer. So ayun yung behavioral segmentation. So punta tayo sa last. So ito ang ating last, which is geographic segmentation. Hinahati ng geographic na segmentation ng merkado batay sa lokasyon na nagpapahintulot sa mga negosyo na maiangkop ang mga produkto at marketing ayon sa mga pangangailangan, kultura at kapaligiran ng mga tao sa mga partikular na lugar. So, sa aking mga binasa, makapaloob lang dito ang lahat ng mga tungkol sa marketing. So, kung ating uunawain at iintindihin ng mabuti, may ipapasok natin dito kung tayo man sa future ay magbi-business, ganun. May papasok natin itong mga ito. So, ayun lang.
Hi, I am Roland Jasper DC Fernandez, and now I will discuss the other part of market segment. Psychographic segmentation. Psychographic segmentation categorizes audience and customers by factors that relate to their personalities and characteristics. Example are personality, kung extrovert ba sila o introvert, or adventurous or simple. Values, mga paniniwala like ng pagiging eco-friendly, family-oriented, or socially responsible. Sa attitude, opinion o paniniwala nila sa mga produkto o brand. Interest, hobbies at passion tulad ng sports, arts, game, or technology. Sa lifestyle naman, paano sila mamuhay and ang daily habits nila, ano ang daily habits nila. Motivation, dahilan bakit sila bumibili, halimbawa sa status, convenience o security. Priorities, ano ang importante sa kanila, affordability, quality o innovations. Ang psychographic segmentation, nakakatulong ito para gumawa ng produkto and services. Example, may dalawang tao, parehas na 25 years old and 30,000 pesos a month ang sahod nila parehas. Yung isa, mahilig sa luxury. Bumibili siya ng mga branded na bag, mga gadget, ganyan. Yung isa naman, simple lang. Yung binibili lang niya yung mga functional naman, mga ganun. Diyan na pumapasok yung demographic. Pag tinawag na demographic, yun yung pagtingin mo sa kanila na pareho sila. Pero pag sinabi natin psychographic, dito mo na makikita yung pagkakaiba nila, kung ano yung needs nila, at kung ano yung approach nila dalawa. The next one is behavioral segmentation. While demographic and psychographic segmentation focus on who a customer is, behavioral segmentation focuses on how the customer acts on the product. Example are purchasing habit. Gaano sila kadalas bumili? Halimbawa, laging monthly sila bumibili ng shampoo or conditioner, o minsan lang tuwing may sale, ganun. Spending habits. Magastos ba sila sa branded products o mas mahilig sa budget-friendly items? The next one is brand interaction. which is paano sila nakikipag-engage sa brand. Halimbawa, loyal ba sila sa isang brand or palipat-lipat depende sa promo. Behavioral segmentation, ito ang very useful. Nakikita mo ang pattern ng action of customers. The next one is geographic segmentation. Geographic segmentation is the simplest type of market segmentation. It categorizes customers based on geographic location. Example are country, province, city, barangay, street, radius around a certain location, climate, urban or rural. Pinakasimple sa lahat na market segmentation strategies. Dito, hinahati ang customer base sa kanilang lugar. Ibig sabihin, nakadepende ang strategy ng business kung saan nakatira o madalas tumira ang kanilang target market. Sa country, halimbawa, products na specific sa Pilipinas versus sa ibang bansa. Sa province, mga pagkain o services na bagay sa province kumpara sa Metro Manila. City, targeting ng business depende kung saan urban city or mabilis ang lifestyle, o small town, mas simple and demand, barangay or street. Maliit na segmentation gaya ng sari-sari store na tumututok sa kalapit na barangay lang. Radius around a certain location. Climate, produkto na nakadepende sa klima. Sa malamig, jacket ang pwedeng ibenta. Sa mainit naman, mga cold drinks. Urban or rural. Sa urban areas, madalas mga demand ang fast food. Sa rural naman areas, mas uso ang fresh products. Is it important for the customer to be informed first of the benefits they would get upon buying a product or services from an enterprise? Or no need for that, since every buyer obviously know the purpose of what they are buying? Yes, it is important para maging aware ang mga customer sa value, advantages, and benefits ng produkto bago sila bumili. Para alam na rin nila na katiwala ang product at saka matulungan sila ng magandang decision buying. In reality, ang pag-inform sa mga customer about sa mga benefits first is vital for marketing and sales success. Para na din mapursige bumili ang mga customer na iyon ang kailangan nilang bilhin na product. This quote is by Henry Ford. A man who stops advertising to save money is like a man who stops the clock to save by time. Ang pag-a-advertise ay hindi dapat itigil kahit mukhang gastos lang ito. Dahil sa business, kung magtigil ka ng advertisement, di ibig sabihin na makakatipid ka. Instead, mawawala ka sa awareness ng customer at baka lumipat pa sila ng ibang brand. Isipin mo, may dalawang multi-shop. Si Shop A nag-advertise ng mga promo, nag-post ng promo sa Facebook. Si Shop B tumigil na sa pag-advertise para makatipid. Kahit masarap sa Shop B, mas pipiliin ng customer ang Shop A dahil sila ang visible at laging naalala ng tao. This quote is by Milan Kundera. Business has only two functions: marketing and innovation. In marketing, paano mo ipakikilala at ibebenta ang product or services mo sa mga customer. Kahit gaano kaganda ang product, kung wala kang marketing, hindi ito malalaman ng tao. The one function is innovation. Paano ka mag-i-improve at magdadagdag ng bago para mapanatiling relevant at competitive yung negosyo. Marketing brings customer. Innovation keeps the business alive. Doing business without advertising is like a winking at a girl in the dark. You know what you are doing but nobody else does. Make it simple. Make it memorable. make it inviting to look at, make it fun to read by Leo Bernards. Simple para madaling maintindihan. Memorable para tumatak sa isip ng tao. Inviting para nakaka-inganyo sa tingnan. Fun para masayang basahin at hindi boring. Other one, the internet is becoming the town square for the global village of tomorrow by Bill Gates. Ibig sabihin ni Bill Gates, ang internet daw ang nagiging parang town of square kung saan lahat ng tao mula iba't ibang lugar sa mundo ay nagkikita, nag-uusap at nagbabahagi ng mga ideas.
Value proposition. A value proposition is a simple statement that summarizes why a customer would choose your product or service. It communicates the clearest benefit customer receive by giving you their business. Limbawa, kung ikaw ay nagbebenta ng eco-friendly na gamit sa bahay, ang value proposition mo ay maaaring nag-aalok kami ng abot kaya at environment-friendly na mga gamit sa bahay na tumutulong sa mga pamilyang Pilipino na mabawasan ang basura habang nakakatipid. A value proposition can be presented as a business marketing statement that company uses to summarize why a customer should buy a product or use a service. Isang pahayag sa negosyo o marketing na nagpapaliwanag kung bakit dapat bilhin ng customer ang isang produkto. Halimbawa, para sa isang delivery food app, masarap na pagkain mula sa paborito mong restaurant, ihahatid sa iyo sa loob ng 30 minuto. Garantisado o libre ang delivery fee. Your business value proposition is arguably the most important element of your overall marketing messaging. A value proposition tells prospects why they should do business with you rather than your competitors. They make benefits of your product or service crystal clear from the outset. Ipinapaliwanag nito kung bakit dapat makipagnegosyo sa iyo ang mga customer sa halip na sa iyong mga kompetensya. At malinaw na pinapakita ng mga benepisyo ang iyong produkto o serbisyo mula sa simula. Ang value proposition pertains to the benefits that customer would get upon buying a product. As a promise by the company who owns it, it is actually a statement which serves as a window for the consumer to see clearly what a certain brand could offer and its advantage over the other competitors. Halimbawa ng sa aming all-natural skincare product, makakapakamtan mo ang makinis at malusog na balat na walang kemikal. Mas ligtas sa sensitibong balat kumpara sa mga ordinaryong produkto sa merkado. The praise of value proposition is credited to Michael Lanning and Edward Michaels, who first used the term in 1988 staff paper for the consulting firm McKinsey & Co. In the paper, which was titled "The Business is a Value Delivery System," the author defined value proposition as a clear, simple statement of the benefits, both tangible and intangible, that company will provide, along with the approximate price it will charge its customer segment for those benefits. Isang malinaw at simpleng pahayag ng mga benepisyong matatanggap sa consumer, maaaring physical o hindi. Kasama ang tinatayang presyo na sisingilin ng bawat customer segment kapalit ng mga benepisyong ito. Halimbawa, nagbibigay kami ng high-speed internet para sa mga remote workers na may 24 hours customer support at walang data cap. Lahat ito ay sa halagang 1,200 kada buwan. Tangible benefits are those that can be measured in financial terms. Ibig sabihin, ito ay direktang epekto sa kita, gastos at kabuuang pananalapi sa isang negosyo o individual. Halimbawa ng tangible benefits, pagtaas ng benta, pagbaba ng gastos sa operasyon, pagtaas ng kita dahil sa mabilis na serbisyo. While tangible benefits cannot be quantified directly in economics terms, these benefits include customer satisfaction. Ang intangible benefits ay may benepisyong hindi agad nasusukat sa pera o numerong pang-ekonomiya, pero may halagang epekto sa kabuuang karanasan at tagumpay ng negosyo. Halimbawa ng intangible benefits, customer satisfaction, brand reputation, employee morale, customer trust and loyalty. Tangible benefit, increased revenue, mas mataas ang kita o sale, resource cost o saving, mas mababang gastos sa tao, kuryente o iba pang resources. Hardware cost saving, nakakatipid sa pagbili o paggamit ng mga kagamitan. Software cost saving, mas kaunti ang gastos sa pagbili o lisensya ng software. Productivity gain, mas mabilis mas maraming pagtatapos ang trabaho. Process improvement, mas maayos at epesyente ang proseso ng operasyon. Habang ang intangible benefits naman ay enhanced user system. Mas madali at maganda ang paggamit ng system o produkto. Increased customer satisfaction, mas kontento o masaya ang mga customer. Increased compliance, mas nasusunod ang batas, regulasyon sa pamamalaan. Brand equity, mas tumataas ang halaga, tiwala at reputasyon ng brand. Sa madaling sabi, ang tangible benefit ay direktang kita at tipid na nasusukat, habang ang intangible benefit naman ay karanasan, tiwala at reputasyon na hindi agad nasusukat pero may malaking epektos at tagumpay.